Hi, my name is Chase Thompson, and I'm a rising sophomore at University of Maryland College Park. I'm studying environmental stewardship under the Institute of Applied Agriculture program. This summer, I was given the opportunity to study plant pigments with the process of creating them under Abby Reeves. This process starts with extracting the dye from any plant. However, I use only plants grown on the University of Delaware Fresh to You farm. The way I went about extracting the dye was boiling my plants, starting with dino kale and 2 different types of beetroots. First, the plant was boiled for a time. Then I pour the boiling liquid and plant into a blender and blend the solution into a puree. Next, I pour the solution back on the stove and simmer for 15 to 30 minutes. I then pour the solution through a strainer into a jar to keep the liquid. I now have a plant dye. On to the next part of the process, laking. During laking, also called the lake pigment process, I take 2 new jars and fill them both with warm water to the middle point. I then add a tablespoon of alum to one jar and a teaspoon of sodium carbonate, also known as soda ash, to the other jar, and stir both solutions. Slowly, I add the contents of both jars to the dye jar and stir as a fizzy reaction occurs and from the base reacting with the acid. I will add different amounts of alum or alkali until the pH is neutral. I then let the jar of solution sit overnight until the pigment sediment builds at the bottom of the jar. Next, I pour the jar into a coffee filter or cheesecloth to collect the sediment. The sediment is dried on the filter and broken off into a mortar and pestle and grinded into a fine powder. I now have plant pigment I pour into a small vial. Now you know how to create pigments out of plants. These pigments can be used for many things, such as creating oil pastels, oil paint, acrylic paint, watercolor paint, and crayons. Thank you to University of Delaware's Envision for supporting this project in this video. Thank you for watching, and now you know how to keep art alive through nature.